Hello. I like to think of permaculture as a big discussion, but a discussion with actions. And this video is kind of on the crossroads of restoration, like native plant restoration and permaculture. And I think it's a subject that needs explored more and talked about. So I'd like, hopefully this just kind of opens up a discussion. So feel free to comment, or make a video back, or anything like that. So some of my thoughts on it are essentially anytime you're doing native restoration, you're doing a step of permaculture. Every time you're doing permaculture doesn't necessarily mean you're doing native restoration, right? Because you might be just growing food. Maybe you have a smaller space and you're really focusing on your own needs and the resources that you use. And so in a smaller space, you may not have room for more native plants, although I think you can squeeze them in. Now, on a larger space, especially the closer you get to, more intact ecosystems or larger areas like national forests, even though they are disturbed with invasive species and, all kinds of human uses anyway, because they're fractured habitats, it still probably becomes more important to focus more on the natives that are there. But again, if you have a small space, maybe your focus is high yields. If you have even, a quarter acre yard, there's surely room for lots of restoration and permaculture, and the two go together so neatly that it's fun to kind of combine them. So one way to combine them would be to plant native plants that also have human yields, even if some of those yields are right now somewhat hypothetical. So I have my spice bush back here. This is part of my butterfly garden, planted 10 years ago. Now, Native Americans had lots of uses for spice bush, and I don't really use it. The yields are hypothetical. They're still there if we did need them. But I also have lots of leaf damage from cool caterpillars, spice bush swallowtail specifically. But because it's native, there's going to be lots of overlap, lots of bugs that eat it, lots of Lepidoptera that can use it. So every time you're planting native plants, you are supporting the larger ecosystem, you're supporting biomass and biodiversity, and those are foundational if we want to have, humans having good lives on Earth too, and sharing this beautiful world with all the life around us. So this has a crossover. Now, one I do get yields from that's native is my pawpaw back here. Wade through the jungle. So you can see there's my pawpaw fruits on there. We planted this 10 years ago. We just had our first zebra swallowtail that we spotted. Pawpaw is the host plant for zebra swallowtail. And we spotted that yesterday laying eggs on our pawpaw tree. So pretty awesome experience. We've eaten pawpaws for about 5 years off of this tree. We've used the seeds to propagate them other places, and it has been sequestering carbon, supporting life, and doing all these amazing functions. And that's where I see this really fun and kind of like bonus zone of the crossover of native restoration and permaculture. We are obtaining human yields and starting to be responsible for our own food. But we're also supporting the life around us, which is critical if we want to continue on. So again, there's no one answer. Every space is different. If you live in a different bioregion, obviously the way you design would be different. That's the fun thing about permaculture. This is a big open discussion. Everybody who's practicing is experimenting and trying to do what they think is best for their life and the amount of time they have and their space. And if we keep it as a big open discussion, because it has so many diverse answers anyway, that's going to make it a living philosophy. If we become dogmatic about it and accept only a few experts and what they say goes, and we don't apply it to our specific circumstances or our specific regions, then that is going to kind of kill the philosophy. It loses momentum. It doesn't spread like it could. So life is uncertain, and how we design and what's going to happen is uncertain. We can use the general flow, the ideas of permaculture design, but we also need to realize that making our own observations is one of those design things. And so observing what's working and what's not and thinking through these issues is part of what makes permaculture so fun. Like I said, please feel free to comment or make a video. I think that this is one of the ways that we can move forward as a species, is permaculture and restoration. There are so many important ideas and philosophies and things happening all the time that there's not just one way to move forward, but this is an important tool for us to use. All right, I hope you guys have a great day. Try to get outside and enjoy your life. Thank you.